Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of PodClass President. My name is Ben Brandon, and I will be your host. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. For those of you that don't know, this is a storytelling podcast that is centered around school stories. Every week, I have a couple friends into the studio that share their weirdest, wildest, funniest, wackiest stories from their time in school or class or any formal learning environment. It's always a good time, and I hope you enjoy the good times. A little note before we hop into this episode. I recorded this one while I was on the road in Rhode Island. And we had professional microphones. However, I forgot to hit record on them for like the first half of this. So, apologizing ahead of time for the audio quality on the first 20 to 30 minutes of this episode. It gets better halfway through. I promise it's still a good time, and I hope you enjoy it. Before we hop in the studio to meet our guest for the day, I am on tour. You can come see me live. November 16th, I will be in Naples, Florida at Off the Hook. On November 18th, I'll be in Fort Lauderdale at the Abdo New River Room. Then I'm taking a couple weeks off, and I come back to Florida. December 13th, I'll be in the Panhandle, Panama City Beach at Captain Anderson's Event Center. Then I take I-10 all the way east out to Jacksonville, Florida on December 20th for the Comedy Zone. And then December 22nd and 23rd, I am headlining the Orlando Improv. It's more or less a homecoming show for me. I'll be doing the weekend before Christmas. And I'm really excited about that. So I hope to see you guys there. Without further ado, let's hop in the studio and meet our guests today. Our guests today have 3.4 million followers on TikTok. You might have seen them on a roof somewhere, wrapping themselves in a blanket and slamming their fingers in a window. Please welcome Francis and JP. Thank you guys so much for joining the podcast, PodClass President. You guys excited to be here?
I'm beyond excited. This is the biggest thing of the career. You mentioned all those other things, but no. From now on, I'm just going to introduce myself as seen on Ben's podcast. That's
PodClass President.
PodClass President.
Yeah.
No. I'm against the name. I have a vendetta against it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Before we jump in, I always like to ask a couple questions about.
Sure.
So where did you guys go to high school?
Okay. Great question. Great question. We went to Bishop Hendricken High School.
Bishop Hendricken High School.
Yeah. It was in
Technically-
Warwick, Rhode Island. A fun fact about it that I think makes it a little bit...
Well, actually, before we say that, I went to Bishop Hendricken all 4 years. Francis didn't go to the same high school all 4 years.
That's true.
He went to
happened
3
to you?
different high schools.
What happened? I did.
In 4 years, 3 different high schools.
Okay, which one do you claim?
Hendricken.
Hendricken.
Because it was the best one, so it gets me, street cred. The other ones are pretty embarrassing.
What kind of street cred are you getting for going to a high school in Warwick, Rhode Island?
In Rhode Island, we're very small, so there's only, really 2 schools, or 3 schools that give you street cred of, wow, you went to a really good high school. Our high schools matter to us.
Okay.
I would say sometimes they're even more important than college.
Similar vibe for Hawaii.
And Missouri, I've heard.
I could see that in Missouri, yeah.
Yeah.
So this first section is a section I like to call, do you know who my mascot is? And honestly, this whole section is for me to eventually try to find a high school mascot that I think my high school mascot could beat in a fight.
Oh, so your mascot's weak.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. I'll say that.
You truly believe your mascot's the greatest mascot?
No, he thinks
Tell me who your high school mascot is.
No. Can we just clarify here? Are you saying your mascot is incredible and no one will ever beat it? Or it will not
other
beat
way
anyone?
around. Yeah. It will never win this fight.
Oh, okay.
Is it an object or an animal?
It's an animal.
Okay, we're also an animal,
We're an
I
animal.
feel like we're fighting an animal with an animal.
What was your mascot?
We're the Hawks.
The Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
I was the sand crabs.
What? What do you mean?
Well, pinch your toes.
Isn't that a disease you can have?
Those are just crabs.
What do you... Wait a minute.
We were the sand crabs.
Why not just crabs?
Don't ask me. I don't fucking know, dude.
Sand crab. Did you go... Did it always depict it in sand?
What, our mascot, the guy that we dressed as our mascot,
Yeah.
he looked like a lobster, and we just called it the lobster because it did not look like a sand crab.
Well, they're related, right?
Yeah.
Did you have chants for your crabs?
No. No, so sometimes we would go. So our high school was Seabreeze High School in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
We were the Seabreeze Sand Crabs. We would say Breeze. We would never address the crab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were Breeze.
Me either.
Go Breeze, like that was our thing. Like our cross country team when I was there, we were our phrase was "run like the breeze." We just completely ignored the fact that our mascot was a sand crab.
Yeah.
And if it ever got brought up, we would go, "Watch out! We'll pinch your toes." That's all we would ever say.
I like though that you all kind of bonded over that. Like you guys got together and you were like, you know what? We have our like you had thought about how you would fight.
Were you the guy in the suit?
No.
Oh.
I knew the guy in the suit though.
Oh.
Shout out Kyle.
Kyle!
So you'd probably get a kick out of this. Our high school was the Hawks, and they once had a naming contest that everybody could submit names, and then the student body would vote on what would be the first name. So it would be first name Hawk. What do you think in all boys school?
Got it. Mike.
Yep.
Mike Hawk.
Mike Hawk.
Mike Hawk.
That's our mascot.
We had a crosstown rival. So our regular rivals was the Mainland Buccaneers.
Okay.
And when it was like dress as the rival, like whatever day, we called it Bucka Nerd Day, and that's how we made fun of the Buccaneers. Was
Okay.
Bucka Nerd Day. But there was another group. They were it was Spruce Creek High School, and they were the Hawks, which is why I remember this. But we called them Cup Freak.
Oh, okay.
We instead of saying fuck Creek because we were in high school, we couldn't say fuck Creek, so we would just say cuck freak. But I think at that time, nobody realized that just saying cuck freak was actually also an insult.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Cuck's a pretty good insult.
Yeah. A cuck freak, too.
Yeah, that's even
He's a freak
double
for
down.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so for you guys, did you ever like think maybe can we try to change our mascot? Like no, everybody's just fine with it.
We were
Never
fine
a
with
vote?
it. Yeah. Nope. Nothing. It was just a thing. It was.
Is
just
your
a-
high school still open?
Oh yeah, it's been open for a long time.
Still the Sand Crabs?
Yep.
You went to school in Florida.
Yeah, Daytona Beach. Florida.
And there's the Buccaneers sports team in Florida,
yeah.
and now you're telling me your rival was the Buccaneers. Did like nobody root for the Buccaneers, like football team? Too? Or was
the Buccaneers were one of the best in the state for the entire time I was at. It wasn't even kind of.
So like sand crabs weren't even killing it.
It wasn't even like if we lost 45-3, it was a good game for us.
Oh my!
Were you on the team?
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, I know him.
He played
for the Buccaneers
He was
or
a
you?
sand
No, I don't think it was.
He was a
sand crab?
No. He was. We had there were 4 or 5 guys that went to the NFL from mainland.
Oh, not from the Sand Crabs.
Big defensive. DeForest Buckner.
I also know that man.
He was from mainland around the same time I was there, and then Vince Carter also went to Mainland High School. Not while I was there.
Offensive to you. I wouldn't compete anymore.
So the Mainland High School, although it was in the worst part of town, it had the much nicer sports facility because Vince Carter donated a ton of money to it.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that being the sand crab? Because I've always wondered this about mascots. Do you think being the sand crabs make you guys worse at sports? Like, do you think you guys just didn't fight as hard?
I think what it was is that we were on the beach side. We were towards the north half of the city of Daytona. So we were half our school was in Ormond Beach, half our school was in Daytona.
Okay.
And we were on the beach side. So the combination of that location just meant we had a lot more rich kids go to ours. Not just rich kids, but richer kids went there, and so it was less we need to play sports to make it.
Yeah.
And more we should probably do some extracurriculars.
Well, you had the rich kids until Vince Carter came out of there, and then he really boosted it up for them.
Oh man! Well, let's get into these stories.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
We'll explain that later, maybe. So I know the name of this podcast strikes a little bit of a nerve for you, Francis.
Hurts.
I was senior class president of my high school.
Don't need to rub it in.
So you were bullied
Uh-huh.
for running for class president.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, because how else
not.
am I going to get elected? I have to run, right?
Yes.
But they didn't approve that.
So I wasn't bullied when I ran.
That's
you
awesome.
won.
No. Yes, I won by a landslide.
Yeah, but if you lost, maybe you would have.
So
You would have
did you get bullied because you lost?
No. I got bullied before. The bullying was actually, I think, what really hurt the campaign.
I feel like that would help the campaign.
No, you didn't want to vote for the kid who was getting bullied. So
no press is bad press.
Oh, there was bad press. it was hard press, man. It felt like I was a political campaign, and everybody in the school was running a slander campaign against me. Like there was no good press.
They met beforehand. They were like, "Hey, fuck this."
An amazing strike team of publicists, writing story. It got
what happened?
It was horrible. It was truly. So the difference, I think, that for you
is... This was at a different school.
This was not for the Henrigan. I transferred out.
So you transferred to a new school and then ran for class president?
No. I ran for class president. And got bullied. Gotta transfer out.
Okay.
That transferred. I want to, I stayed the whole year. Start? Okay. So, basically, it was freshman year for me, so it was a little bit different because I guess.
So you were running for class president freshman year.
Okay. But I thought that.
And then never again.
Yeah, never again for anything.
I never ran after this.
I never ran for any political office. Student council was dead to me. Because all through middle school and stuff, I would do it because I was a very charismatic guy. So I was like, you know what, this is fun.
You have to be good at something.
Exactly. That's all I had. So as soon as I got to high school and there was freshmen, I was like, we're all on an equal playing field. No one really knows anybody. Yeah. I think this could be a slam dunk because put me on a stage and I think I can give you a good enough speech.
Sure.
Where I could do the fake, lunches are gonna be better. You know what I mean?
Did your high school let you guys do debates?
Yeah. It was a
My
speech.
high school did not.
Oh,
there was nothing.
That's why you won.
Reason. Well, there was no reason for us to actually even know who was running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big deal at our school.
Really? Okay.
It was an assembly. You all got called in and you went on a thing and you spoke for 3 minutes.
Ours was can you guys please vote?
Oh, yeah, no.
We had the text vote my senior year. And most students didn't even vote.
You couldn't leave the auditorium before you vote. You had to vote to leave the auditorium. Which hurt. So basically, JP's at middle school at the time, and he's I'm going for vice president of his middle school.
Which I won.
Which he won.
Pretty easy. I always ran for vice president.
And
no one cared.
No, hold on. I was always vice president. I was vice president for my theater program, my middle school,
did anyone ever
my
run
elementary
against
school.
You for
People
vice
had, yes.
Okay.
But do you know what slogan always sold me as vice president?
I'm number 2?
No. Think about my initials.
JP.
JP for VP. Helped me every single time.
Rhyme schemes.
Great slogan. Wait till you hear my rhyme scheme.
Too bad you didn't have a name that rhymed with president.
Yeah, sorry. I'm always second best. Which is great, because on the TikTok page, it's him, and I'm kind of the side guy.
Yeah,
so I'm the vice
nobody
president.
Even knows you exist.
Perfect. Yeah. Vice president.
Yeah, very vice president.
When he dies, it's all mine.
Yeah.
Downhill from there.
So JP's running, so I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If he can run, I can run. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We're both going to be running. We're both going to be presidents of, it will be a fun little thing.
Not me.
Apparently,
nepotism. It works.
Yeah, apparently that was the last good idea I had. Because, so basically I was like, you know how I'll win this? Is I'll go the extra mile. Okay?
Right.
And
in high school, everyone loves the kid that tries.
Yeah, they obviously they want the guy.
No one's ever been bullied in high school for trying.
Yeah, that was probably my great mistake. So I made posters.
Sure.
And my posters, I didn't have a cool name vote for JP for VP.
Right.
So I said, vote for me and get a Smartie. Okay? And
oh my god.
Yeah, okay, so I was thinking I'm a smart kid, but also that's a play on the candy.
Oh,
and I would hand out the candy.
I'm not even there and I want to bully you.
Yeah, the issue is Smarties are apparently notoriously just sawdust of candy.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Kids at my high school would crush them up and snort them.
Yeah, nobody wanted a Smartie, okay? Not apparently me as the Smartie or the candy.
No.
So people inherently did not. So I did this I don't know if you've ever watched the Santa Claus movie. Where it was
which one?
The second one when he's kind of a terrible kid. Yeah, the Tim Allen one, kind of like a terrible kid, the son, and he breaks into the school and he starts vandalizing. I basically did that. I had one of my friends stay in the school.
As part of your campaign, you broke into the school.
Yes. I broke into the school late at night, and I hung up about 500 posters of this. around the school and feeling like I'm in that movie where I'm like, people are gonna wake up tomorrow morning and see the absolute guerrilla marketing campaign. I am putting on a master class of marketing right now, is what I'm thinking.
No,
and I have exactly where I'm gonna stand in the morning. I'm gonna get there early.
No market research.
No, I thought I was gonna get there early. I had this huge bag of Smarties, so big, and I hang these everywhere. Okay, I walk in.
Should have secured the vote before you gave up the merchandise.
He should have realized who the voters were before he plastered his face all over the school and pretended like it was.
Yeah.
Well, it was really funny. Nobody else did this.
Like, no one else did it. It's
no
just me.
Candidate.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
At no point in my brain was I thinking, other people must have broken into the school late at night to hang up their own campaign posters.
Yeah, we met each other as we were putting ones on the wall together.
Yeah, it just became dots and boxes where you're just ripping theirs down to put yours up.
It was not that. So I thought I got to the school very early. And I did not, because apparently the vandalists got to the school.
The vandals.
Sure. That's probably the word.
You know the show American Vandals?
You shouldn't vote for me. I'm not the smarty.
Based off of our school, Hendricken.
That is true. He went there, so he did
Okay.
it. But, so obviously me judging by that word, my campaign promise was a lie, because I'm not actually a smarty. I just thought it was good with the candy. And I got there, and almost every single poster drawn on. Just horrific things. And it kind of, some of them were very talented. So it kind of looked like those were just my posters.
Yeah.
That I did this as a thing. And eventually I'm holding the bag, and like, as people are walking by, they're just laughing.
Yeah.
Like, I am just standing there with this huge bag of candy that nobody wants. As there's just, I'm surrounded by posters of myself.
Yourself.
So there's no way I can hide that I'm the guy. Everybody knows. People are coming down like
that's
it's a
the
tour
smarty.
guide. I was getting yelled at, like, while walking.
Yeah.
And there's like, hey, there's the idiot from the poster. Guys,
Yeah.
People were taking pictures with me.
For sure.
Saying, like, look, it's the idiot from the posters.
That's as they should.
So,
Did you win?
the campaign was not off to a great start.
Come on, man, I'm on the edge of my
Oh,
seat.
I'm sorry. This was the start of the campaign.
This was the start. This was it. And it's just relentless. Like, people kept the posters. Like, people would have me, like, it was just.
I got a few.
I thought for a little bit, though, it would turn into a meme where people started liking it. It did not.
No.
It never turned into a good thing. It was never laughing with you. It was very clearly laughing at you.
Yeah.
Everybody, the issue was freshmen would come up to me and not feel bad that I was getting bullied by all the upperclassmen and everything, because I forgot they're around too. It wasn't just my voters. It was other people that had no reason to vote for me or anything like that. Because I'll say, I think the senior class would have voted in droves for me. Because they thought
it was funny.
They wanted that guy to ruin the freshmen.
Yeah, they wanted chaos.
Yeah, they wanted chaos. Yeah. The freshmen hated me because they thought I was giving the freshmen the most bully of a name, ever.
The smartest.
And they're right.
Yes,
they're right. They're right.
I want to say, bullying is bad.
Yeah. I deserved it.
But.
The butt. Ugh.
Yeah, it was, so I get to the thing, and I've just went through, the hardest, 3 days of my life. I'm not campaigning anymore.
3 days? You didn't take them down after day one?
Oh, no, most of them, I tried. If I ever went by one, it was, taken down.
Yeah.
I did everything, but, when I go into classes, everybody knew, and, it was always whispers when I walked in the door, that. Because, again, I just started high school. I didn't know any of these people. It's not the time you want. You're just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And I was.
And you were not.
And I was not.
Everybody knew your name.
I needed to transfer. I needed
or die. I think that was the other option.
Honestly, I did. So it was the worst 3 days of my life, and it was just whispers when I walked in the door, and then it was finally the day, and I actually did not know we had to go up and give a speech. That was not something I was aware of.
And so now the smarty himself has to address the entire class. Had you learned at this point that it was a bad idea, that everything you had done was bad?
I wanted to.
Or were you still bought in?
I couldn't withdraw.
Right.
I asked.
Okay.
I asked if you could withdraw. But the issue was, they said that, first of all, you can't because your name's already on the things that they printed out.
It's on more than just the ballots.
And the second thing is, imagine the guy that hung up the posters
and then wasn't on the ballot.
No, I mean you don't put yourself on the ballot. You go, it was a joke. It was all a big joke. I gotcha.
I gotcha, guys. It was a joke for multiple reasons. I was the joke
Yeah.
and the punchline.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I go up. So I'm forced to go up on stage, and you know me very now. I do theater. I do show. I talk. I put myself out on the internet. I wouldn't say I'm a shy person.
No, not at all.
I could not stop shaking on stage. My voice cracked 3 times because whoever makes a boy going through puberty who is so nervous, who has just been bullied for 3 weeks, go on stage and have to address. And I want you to know, when I got up on stage, everybody goes, "It's Smarty Kid! It's Poster Boy!"
Poster Boy is a great nickname. You could have, if you could have stuck, if that would have landed, Poster Boy.
Vote for Poster Boy.
Look, think about it in the NBA sense. You're putting people on posters.
They weren't calling me a
He's
nickname.
putting himself on the poster.
They were not calling me a nickname.
Well, they weren't calling you your real name.
They were reminding the other kids
that you were not to be voted for.
I was the guy on the Poster Boy. I was They weren't being like, "Oh, it's Poster Boy." They were saying, "Guys,
look,
it's the guy from the poster."
It's the Pillsbury Poster Boy. That's definitely not happening.
Poster Boy.
It was horrendous. I shook. I could not. People started to forget about the posters because they started to know me as the guy that might have just went up there
and shit his pants
and literally peed himself, because it was embarrassing on so many levels. That thing. I don't think I said a real word like that audibly, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Did you win?
Not only first of all,
sounds like he lost a lot more than just the election.
Not only did I not win, they released the vote numbers, which is just mean. You didn't need.
Was that not a regular thing?
I don't know. I just joined this school, but it felt like in normal schools they're like to help the people and not get embarrassed.
Oh no, they did that in my school too.
They released
did.
Yeah.
It got released.
How close were you, buddy?
I had 17 votes.
Out of?
Over 1,000.
I think it was 600.
17 out of 600 is, I mean, that's 17 people who knew you.
Yeah.
17 friends for life.
Yep.
17. Honestly, at that point, I had none. So those 17 were just love Smarties, I think.
I'm really proud of you.
They took a Smartie and they were socially required them to vote for you.
Yeah. 17.
But tell them the best part, because then you left
this isn't
the
even
pep
the best
rally.
part.
No, because then you left the pep rally, so it was like the homecoming.
I left the...
So it was like
my
homecoming,
gosh.
So each
This
class
is
had
the
this
best
assembly.
part. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. So everybody has an assembly. And,
Yeah.
And
vote for their
class
Sure.
president.
And it's just your class there.
Like,
So-
that's the day. Like, they're
Yeah.
only coming to school for these votes.
so I'm coming
assemblies.
off probably one of the most embarrassing performances and everything in my life and everything like that. And now it's pep rally like a week later of like a homecoming thing, and everybody's in their team colors and everything like that. And they're like the older kids like throw batteries at the sections of like the
Batteries.
batteries.
Like
They threw-
Philadelphia Eagles fans on Christmas at
they
Santa
threw
Claus.
batteries at us. Like the senior class walked around humming battery. If I didn't need batteries, I would have been mad. If I didn't collect them from home to bring them home. So they were mean. Like,
That
they were going around.
is what a great senior prank, huh?
Yeah.
Causing real physical bodily harm
I laugh.
on smaller people.
Then I'm walking to
This
class.
feels like an 80s high school. This is like a John Hughes movie.
This is why I transferred out into a private
Yeah,
school.
this is not Hendricken. This was the local public school.
Yeah,
Just to specify.
Oh, we had a guy bring a cow upstairs.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
I only went to
They
this-
can't walk
Yeah,
downstairs, yeah.
But tell them what happened
So
at the pep rally.
so now after the pep rally, I'm just walking to class, and a bunch of like seniors, it was like 7 of them, come around me in a circle and start just silly stringing me as I'm walking to class. Everybody else is walking by, and they're like, "We got the class president!" They thought I won. The seniors had thought I was the class president. So every bad thing they wanted to do to the class president was happening to me.
You're a martyr.
I was like, find the girl who won. Because it's not me.
You said, don't bully the woman.
Because, like,
Stop bullying me. Go get the girl.
They want equality. She could probably take it better than me.
Well, she took the presidency better than you. I'll tell you that.
So they're yelling, look at the class president. This is your president. And one kid yells, we didn't vote for that loser.
Just to put it in perspective, like he transferred out of the school after 1 year, and he once was in theater at this school, and they were doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs,
Sure.
and he was Prince Charming, believe it or not. He was in theater, and the actor that played one of the dwarfs got arrested mid-performance
because they found
drugs in his locker,
Dopey
and
was
he played
doping.
Dopey was doping.
That was the thing.
Francis
In front of parents, like this guy, like cops came on stage during a performance.
Yeah.
My grandma was there.
and
like,
arrested Dopey. And Francis had to then play Prince Charming and Dopey.
Because I was the only guy besides Dopey.
Would you just drop down to like your knees to do his lines?
Yep, and I had the lines taped to a lunch bag. And that was like Dopey's new character thing.
Dopey was doping, and he transferred out of that.
I did transfer out.
That's hilarious.
I transferred. The funniest thing is I did not transfer right to Hendricken. I transferred to homeschooling for a year because I was like, no kids.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. You're like, I need mom's love.
Yeah.
I need my mommy to give me a hug.
Yeah.
So I also ran for class president, as you know, based off the name of this podcast. I won mine.
Yeah.
No bragging.
But this is what it's a little bit of brag, but this is what I did for my campaign. I paid my friend Sarah Kelly, shout out Sarah,
Hello, Sarah.
I paid my friend Sarah $20 and a Moe's burrito to run my campaign for me, and then I just stepped back. She made posters of me using. This was like the same time like the first wave of memes was really starting to come out.
Yeah.
So she didn't post my face on any pictures. She just posted memes about voting for me, and she actually did research to figure out like what cliques of students were hanging out in which parts of the high school. Made a meme that would elicit like a good response from that specific clique of high school students, and then hang those posters in very specific parts of the school so that the right kids would laugh at it and be able to vote for me.
Do you have her number? We're gonna run a campaign soon.
I still have her number.
He's gonna go back to high school, and he's gonna win now.
They would still, like, parents, like, the funny thing is eventually I'm going to get to an age where, like, those kids are now parents of, like, kids there. And they're like, yo, it's poster boy! It was honestly the worst. And you yesterday were talking, you went on stand-up, and you
I went on stand-up.
You went and did stand-up, and in your show you mentioned this podcast, and you mentioned the name, and I didn't know, I didn't register that was the reason why.
Yep.
And I was like, of course Ben won. Of course. And it was just such a triggering moment.
I'd vote for him.
It was horrible. It was
Everyone
bad.
voted for me.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
believe I remember the name of the. I believe I remember the person who ran against me, but I don't know if she just didn't like try as hard or if I just don't remember. But she's a very nice person. Like she was great, and like we were still friends afterward. But it was
Respectable politician.
yeah, it was a landslide.
Wow.
What? So I mean, I'll never know the answer, obviously, because I didn't get elected. What do you do as president?
Nothing.
Okay.
So the only things that I did, we actually met like 3, maybe 4 times or whatever.
Okay.
Just the actual like
Student council.
student council, sure. And I got a few policies changed at my school for the following year.
Really?
But it was just stuff like, because I was speaking as a poor kid, and it was stuff like you have to purchase an ID, and then your ID, you need your physical student ID to be able to do things like go off campus for lunch and do this and that. And I was like, no. I can barely afford a $10 student ID, and if you're telling me I need it, it is a necessity, you have to give me the first one for free. Because if you're telling students they need a thing and you're putting a $10 charge on it, what you're doing is you're telling kids with no money that they are not allowed to do stuff. Like, they're starting their school year already in trouble.
You got my vote. I'm in with you. I'm voting for you. Why didn't you
don't
not
know.
do anything like that? You only wanted to give them Smarties.
But that was free. Like, for the poor kids. They could have as many as they'd like. They said to vote. They need to vote for me. but I'm giving the item for free.
Yeah. So they changed that policy after I
really
left.
good.
The
That's
next year
awesome.
had to deal with that, and I think there was some stuff about like uniforms as well. Is like if you're gonna force kids to wear uniforms, you have to buy them their first set.
Did
You
you go to-
have to.
Private school or
No,
was it
this is
charter?
public school.
Private?
Oh,
This
wow.
was a public school in Daytona Beach, Florida. So there really wasn't much money. Like half the school did not have very much money, and the other half had a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, if you're gonna make kids need a thing, you have to give them the first one free.
Definitely.
You can offer them perks for higher charges, sure. Like if you have your basic student ID, you get to do the things that you need to do. But if you want to spend $5, you get a special stamp on it that lets you go off campus for lunch or whatever. Like that's fine because students don't need to go off camp. That's a
Yeah.
luxury, whatever. But if you're forcing them to need the ID or else, you have to give them that first
Yeah.
one.
No, I mean, I get so I went to the public school on like the school was very run down. Like it's the same school that like my grandfather went to of like look wise, act like, and
Yeah.
then Hendricken was the private of the private school. Where so it was a very different like culture shock.
Just to
First
put
of
it-
all, I want to say that my train gets delayed a little bit.
Oh.
So it's not at 3:55. It's at 4:13. So we have
Oh, look at that, guys. Ben might not miss his train.
20 more minutes or
Chugga,
so
chugga, chugga, chugga.
from what we had.
That's awesome. Just to put in perspective, though, on how old the public school was, our sister went to that public school for 1 year as well. So Francis and our sister went for 1 year each to that public school, not at the same time. My sister had to leave the public school because she was randomly, as she was attending this, came down with a mysterious illness, and she went to several doctors, several everything, and they're like, what is wrong with her? Why is she so sick all of a sudden? And they came to the conclusion they think she was so allergic to the mold in the building.
Yeah.
What?
And
Allergic to the mold in the building.
Yeah, so she was
Yeah.
getting so sick
So
because she was going to
could
school.
not go to school there. Literally.
Well, yeah, they should get rid of the mold.
Stop telling them what to do. You're not the president.
Maybe if
Alright.
I was elected, I
Alright.
would have removed the
Alright.
mold.
All right.
But no, the woman didn't do that.
We gotta get into JP's dumb
Yeah,
story.
sorry.
So
Dumb story. I
it's
did
not a dumb story, but I don't know what the story is, and it's coming from you. I'm assuming immediately it's probably gonna be a dumb story.
It's pretty dumb.
Okay.
I said it because it's a combined story, so I
Right.
thought that was good that we both can.
It's adorable.
We
truly.
were able to go to the same high school 1 year because
Yes.
we both transferred. to Hendrick.
25 and 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So 1 year, his senior year was my freshman year
Got
at Hendricken. I went all 4 years. He only went for that 1 year.
Yeah,
2
after
years.
he
went for
fled.
2 years. He
He went for 2 years after he fled.
Yes, and
Yeah.
fled home.
And I'm not mad
he fled
about it.
home.
I'm not-
He hit home
I'm
and
not
then
mad
fled
about
to
it.
there. So we had 1 year together,
Right.
Which was awesome. It was very cool to have
Yeah.
like a sibling at the same school. You were close in
My
age.
my brother is 14 months older than me, so
same school.
3 years at every school.
Did you like that or did you not like that?
We didn't hang out.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
We
We
were all-
never saw each other. Like his friends knew who I was, and my friends knew who he was, but like we never hung out. Like we didn't pass each other, and sometimes I would end up with like a teacher that had him last year, and they'd be like, "Oh, another Brainerd," and I'm like, "Yup, I don't know what he did to you. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
You know.
So we had the same homeroom because we both did theater. So every single morning we had at least one class together.
And then lunches we'd try, but the issue.
I don't think we ever had a lunch together, which was the issue.
So your
where the
lunches
story-
weren't at the same time?
No, there was 4 lunch periods, and depending on what your class was, you'd either have lunch A, B, C, or D.
Okay, I'm sure this is totally like a fairly normal practice. Just my school was just like, go.
Everybody at
Everybody at the same time, go.
So it was
you have
called-
you have 45
so
minutes,
they
go.
separated us, yeah.
It was called long period, and like you could go to long period for 30 minutes of class, and then you'd have 30 minutes of lunch and go back to that class and have another hour.
Yeah.
Or you'd go right away to lunch and have an hour and a half straight.
Yeah, it would it would
Okay.
change how your class was. So
Sure.
if you had a breakup in your class, if it was at the beginning or at the end,
Yeah.
was kind
Yeah.
of like the
4
the
lunch
thing.
periods. But I don't think we ever lined up.
No, not really. Especially not that year because our mother, you know, she was a working mom with 4 kids. So sometimes,
She's a Dolly Parton song.
yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
she had
So
that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So sometimes as a mother, you don't have a lot of time for efficiency or like to like get everything exactly right. So sometimes you have to cut corners.
Yeah.
And where she would cut corners is school lunch had to pay for because didn't have time to make
Sure.
lunches.
This school has a cafeteria for a
Yeah.
reason.
So
And this is you guys going to private?
Yeah, private school. And so we
Eat
would
their
also,
lunch. Get the money's worth.
Yeah,
We'd
well-
also stay after school until 8 p.m. every single day because we did theater. So
Yeah.
we'd go from there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then we'd
good
have
for
this.
mom.
Yeah.
Get her
So
money's
she,
worth
like-
from that private school.
Well, so the lunch thing was we don't have to pay, but our mother would just give us a $20 bill
Sure.
For
but
both
for
of us.
both of us.
And say split it.
But we're not a bank.
And you never ate at the same time.
No,
Yes.
exactly.
This is the problem that you're going in.
We've explained this to our
So
mother.
she would say, "Here's a 20, boys. Get lunch, get dinner. See you at 8:30."
Was it 20 enough to cover 4 meals?
It depends what you got that day.
Yeah, you did. We weren't
Who
weren't
got-
getting the
We
steak.
weren't getting the. We
Who
weren't
got
getting the big menu.
lunch first?
That was the. It depends. So
It
each
depends.
day
it would flip.
Yeah.
Okay.
20, and then we try to do research to realize which one of us had an earlier lunch
To
period.
start with the 20.
Oh
and
man,
then
if
start
they
with the
changed my lunch period every day, I would never know when lunch was.
They
yeah, it
changed
would
the lunch
change
period every day.
That
single
sounds
day.
awful.
Yeah.
It was tough.
It
So
would be on a 7-day rotating schedule. So like every 7
Every
days.
Monday was this, every
No,
Tuesday was
no,
that.
no.
Or it's the
because
same for
7
this week,
days.
it's the same for the next week.
No.
It's 7 days. So basically, which is
Oh,
even
but there's only
dumber.
5 days.
Yeah.
of
There's
school.
only 5 days in a week. So then Monday and Tuesday would be your 6, 7. Then it would rotate back
Back
to
to
1,
one.
which would be your Wednesday that day rather than a Monday.
A holiday.
So you had-
really
I have a
messed
lot
us
of
up.
questions, and none of them are for you.
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I don't know who made it. I don't know who made it.
Yeah, I don't know who made it on a
The
7-day
dumbest
rotation.
person.
It was horrible. It-
Probably the same person who ran for president their freshman year of high school under the slogan, "Vote for the Smarty."
It was vote for me, get a Smartie.
Get it
Okay.
right.
And
It
I
barely
will give you
rhymes.
a poster. I have many. It barely
It
rhymes.
barely rhymes.
That hurts. That,
You
that's
like
a-
JP
You
for
know what
VP?
though?
JP for VP. Yeah, you're born into it.
That's a nice.
You're always
critique.
going to be number
I
2.
was 3 times VP.
I wish somebody's critique of my poster was just. It's not.
It
it's not a
barely
strong
rhymes.
rhyme. That was never the
Vote for me
critique.
because no one says Smarty.
Yeah, the critique.
They say Smarty.
the critique was your face is horrible.
If you said vote for me,
Yeah.
get a Smarty, but no one says for me. This is vote for me, get a Smarty. It's just not how people talk.
Yeah.
Vote
Yeah,
for me, get lunch for free is
Well,
better.
That would
Well,
be great, but
whoa.
we couldn't make that
What
promise.
was that,
No.
Logan? We need
Yeah,
that.
empty promises win elections.
That's true.
That's very true.
C's get degrees and empty promises win
Oh
elections.
my gosh, I got in a huge fight once because of this.
C's get degrees?
I fully believe in that.
Well, the better slogan is degrees don't matter.
Well, okay, but it doesn't rhyme as
See,
well.
the issue was
That's my critique.
I didn't
Rhyme a little more.
I didn't learn that
I'll
the
work on
C's
it.
get degrees thing was for college and not for high school.
It's even worse for high school.
No, it's better for college though.
Outside of right now, when was the last time anybody? Well, I guess maybe in Rhode Island it's different, but like, when was the last time anybody asked you about high school?
No, I mean,
When was the last time you had to show your diploma?
That's true.
that's true. But
Ever?
applying for college
Applying
is the
for college
sole
is
reason
the
why C's
unique-
get degrees is less valuable. Once
In
you get to
high school.
college, and you get a college diploma.
Well, the thing
doesn't matter.
with colleges understand that grades are a measure of resources and effort more so than they're a measure of intelligence.
Yeah.
Like the smartest kid would still get C's in high school.
If they didn't try.
If they did, no, it's not that. It's not even that they didn't try. Sure, effort is important, but also like resources.
Yeah.
If there's a smart kid that also has to work a part-time job to help pay the bills at home, he's not getting straight A's. He just doesn't have the resources to do it. So when you're looking at your diploma and you're like, this kid just on paper got C's and didn't do any extracurriculars, you're like, nothing. But then this kid who's just not nearly a good enough student, but had like the time, the resources, the help, got A's, he's going to go to college and fail out of college because he's not a good student.
There was a guy in his class who had D's, like didn't get into college, didn't go anywhere, but he did win perfect attendance of the year. He never missed a day.
Never missed the day. But it was-
ever for all 4 years.
Did you guys know him personally?
Yeah,
did.
he was in my class. He was.
Did you know what his home life was like?
Oh, I can give you a story of what it was like.
Well, I'm just saying there's probably a reason he
Oh.
didn't miss a single opportunity
But
to
he was
not
proud
be
of
at
that
home.
too. Like
we
he was like,
no, he
perfect
wasn't.
fit.
He tried to ruin it every single day. His mom would force him to go to school no matter what.
really, I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh, I've told you this story. His mom would force him to go to school no matter what, and we know this because my classroom. One day, it was in the class. He was late. We're all sitting in the classroom. We're at the window of where you drop off the kids, and we turn around, and he's he's being forced out of the car by his mother.
Yeah.
Grabbing him out. And he goes, Mom, I told you, I have no work done for any of my classes today. You cannot make me go to school. And she goes, I do not care. You're not ruining this perfect attendance. He goes, I am going to fail out of school, Mom. And she goes, I do not care. I don't want you at home. And he goes, Mom, you're the worst. And he takes out a sandwich from his lunch and he throws it at his mom's windshield. And he curses her out. And the mom goes like, same to you. And she drives away. And this kid then just had to walk normally down the hall and into the class.
I like him.
And everybody had to pretend like we didn't just see that.
I like him.
Until eventually the teacher has to go, I'm assuming you didn't do the homework. And it was the hardest bar I've ever heard a teacher say.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the kid goes, nope. I do not have anything. And the teacher goes, including your sandwich.
What's the teacher's name? Do you remember?
Mr. Gray. He's dead
oh my
now.
gosh. We
Shout
both
out
had
Mr.
him.
Gray's surviving family.
Yeah.
He is so great. We both had him twice.
Okay,
was
we gotta wrap up.
I
so
love
okay,
Mr.
but
Gray.
okay. So you guys were given one $20 bill
One
for the
$20
both
bill.
of you.
Yes.
lunch.
Never
For lunch.
got to eat lunch at the same time.
Never. got to eat lunch.
Not once.
So
The issue with this system is, first of all, we have to get the money to the other person, which if you're,
I'm gonna go ahead and assume the best way to do so is to walk it to the other person's class.
Yeah, but then
and hand it to them.
No, because then you have to leave the class or deal with the teacher. And
Yeah,
sometimes it just,
I'm aware.
yeah, so there
You know,
was-
you can talk to them like humans, right?
Yeah, but
the
then
issue is
every
he would have to
single-
do this every single. We'd have to do this every single class.
Okay.
And then it was like kind of embarrassing of like my brother's dropping off money to me, like we're splitting it. So we didn't want to go through that, and we also didn't want like people to know.
I
like,
could see
this is our
that. Yeah,
system.
it would seem like you don't want to be perceived as the poor people.
Yeah, especially in the school of.
It
everybody
sounds
that
like a
we
joke,
got.
but that's genuine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you don't
it
want to be perceived as needing help.
Yeah. So like it was one of those things where it was like whatever. Like we just knew that we were gonna have a system of like we don't have to interrupt the other person. Just before lunch, they were gonna have to go to this location, and we'd have to switch the location
because
based on
if somebody
where
found our
people were.
$10, we'd be
have
starving.
No food.
Yeah.
No food. So that $10 was important. And the issue would be whoever had lunch first would have to try to get it as close to the split as possible. But we were no mathematicians.
Yeah.
So sometimes there was a little bit less there.
Like if I accidentally ordered a fry and a sandwich and a drink,
That means I'm having less food.
Yeah.
So, but I don't get a choice. I just open up the magical like binder or envelope,
And there's just
wherever
some
it is,
amount
and
of
there's
money.
some
There's
amount
some
of
amount of money.
and that's our lunch money that day.
and dinner money.
So would you guys text each other the location?
Yes.
We text each other a location. The issue is
Sometimes the location would be not possible, so then we'd have to find a different location, and we'd have to take time out of our lunch
period
to
to
leave
try to-
early.
so every lunch period was basically a treasure hunt. Because you
I
would
mean,
just
that's
get,
kind
like,
of fun.
It is until you miss lunch. Because you're still looking for this binder
Did this happen often?
all the time. Because he would describe locations at 40. He's like, under the
Why
stairwell.
didn't you just pick like 5 or 6 different
So,
locations?
we
Here
never
was,
got that
our,
organized.
here was our go-to, right? So the choir room, we were in theater. The choir room, so there was a lot of places in this school that because we were theater kids, we had access to and hang out in.
Sure.
Like one kid, Owen, love Owen, shout out to Owen, he's great. The prop closet. He would skip class, turned it into his whole office, had a desk, had a bed, had a TV set up.
Sure.
In the prop closet. Well, in the choir room, they had a giant cabinet, and you open it up, and it was every single kid's music for every single song they have to sing, and
Yeah.
they're numbered and named by human. But, like,
Okay.
sometimes they'd come in and, like, the choir person's coming in to add stuff to. So then that would be out. But often we'd pick a random person or a random number of that binder and shove it into the slot of someone's song. So I text him, like...
So you'd put your money in somebody else's binder.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'd text him and I'd be like, binder 17, lift high the cross.
Yeah. And I once got caught, like, in the room by
In
a teacher.
somebody else's
Somebody
binder.
else's binder. What are you doing?
Taking money.
And I go, I'm taking money. And he goes,
from
I
somebody
go, but
else's.
it's my money.
In
He goes,
somebody
why is
else's-
it his binder?
Well, my brother...
And then you would have to explain all of this.
All
Yeah.
of this.
And of course they would look at you and be like, why didn't you just walk it to him?
They didn't suggest
Every
that.
lunch-
Every lunch period
every
for a
lunch
whole
period.
year. Sometimes it would be like...
At that point, I
library
feel like
book.
you could just pick the choir teacher and be like, do you mind if we do this?
We didn't want.
Well,
we kind of just did it.
If he's in there.
Well,
Yeah.
we once went with like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Great Gatsby, page 17, library. Like we would just like.
So
give a
part of this
location.
was fun for you.
I wouldn't say it's fun because every time you would eventually.
If it wasn't necessary for you to get the money to eat lunch, I feel like you guys are the kind of people that would have fun hiding and
Yeah,
finding.
I would agree. If this was just a fun thing, but the issue would be is all the good the way the food works, especially if you had like fourth period, they would run out of food.
They'd run
So
out.
sometimes if you didn't get to that lunchroom fast enough, there would be no seats
And there'd be no food.
and there would
And
be
there'd
no food. And all you have is $6
Sorry.
because he would spend a little bit more.
Because he would send $14
Yeah.
on one of 4 meals of the
yeah,
day.
and you just have $6 going. Well, this is.
I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure. Like, if you told me beforehand that one of you would spend a little bit too much money, even though they knew that they would have to buy 4 full meals with one $20 bill, they would just go triple the amount that they should have spent. I would be like, JP did that.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, a lot of the days what we would do would we would just get fries because fries were $3.
And
so we'd get
fairly filling.
Yeah, so we'd get fries, and then we'd walk to Stop and Shop after school.
Yeah.
Rotisserie chicken,
No,
$5.
I'd
never-
walk to Publix right next door and I'd buy a cup of popcorn chicken for like a couple bucks.
I
Yeah.
never understood how he did this until I found out that he eventually had his own scheme that he didn't let me in on, where he would buy the cheapest thing at lunch, just keep the money of the rest of the section, and he would just pocket it. Like, that was his thing.
If
and
I
now
didn't eat-
now he's majoring in business.
Yeah.
So.
If
And
I
I
didn't
had no
eat, that's
idea.
his profit.
That's what he saw.
Yeah, I mean, I would go next door sometimes. Instead of the Publix, I would go to like the Walgreens or whatever was on the
Yeah.
corner, and I would buy. They had like a pack of a dozen cookies for $1, and I would go selling cookies for $1 at my
So
around
I
my
did that
campus.
once with rotisserie chicken. Some kid wanted to buy the wings.
A whole rotisserie
no,
chicken.
I ate the whole rotisserie chicken, and somebody wanted the drumstick, and I was like $5,
Kind
and they
of
said
no, no.
okay, but that was the whole
the thing
rotisserie
that I was
chicken.
most mad about was when JP continued going to school, obviously, there without me.
Yeah, for the next 3 years.
But the budget didn't change.
of course, the budget.
He would
didn't
still
change.
get 20
He would
bucks.
I
still
get $20 for the rest of the 3
I was
years.
surviving on whatever he didn't
So when we
spend.
were there together, we shared it. When he was gone, he was in college.
So
it was
he
not a
just started-
problem.
And he already learned how
You-
to survive on cents. So he
I mean,
was
from
just
your mom's
pocketing.
perspective, she was like, "I have $20 a week for children's lunch."
Yeah,
Yes.
that was kind of the thing.
That's
Yes.
it.
So she was just ready with the budget. She didn't have time to do the math to change it for the equation.
No. She did her math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The budget wasn't set up for multiples.
kids.
It was just her budget. Was
Yes.
I have $20 a week I can spend
Yeah.
on food for the children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Or-
went to me when he went to college.
You were the only children.
It was
Yeah.
like a business. He was like literally. I worked jobs. I did it all. JP would just have money.
Isn't it great being the younger student?
It's great.
I was still poor.
Yeah, I just had,
Yeah.
I worked. I did jobs. I worked at 15 years old. Like
Yeah,
it was a thing.
I was at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I did.
really? My
Yeah,
friend was at Chick-fil-A.
16 years old. I was the cow.
You're laughing
I
where he
was the
worked
cow.
at 15 years
You
old.
couldn't do. You couldn't be the
The sand crab?
but you could
No,
be the cow.
yeah, I didn't want to be the lobster.
He sold religious gifts at a
did.
religious gift store, and he was the only male employee there. They didn't
true.
have any men that worked there because they didn't like it.
All
until
of that
then.
tracks.
Yeah, my sales pitch was you can't put a price on
Salvation.
God's word, but we did. It's $39.95. Please buy a Bible.
Yeah. I think Jesus would come in and flip a table.
Well, he could, but
He has before.
he could, but I get paid by the shift,
And
so
he
it
doesn't
doesn't matter
know where
what
we
happens.
hide
I also
money.
like if Jesus did show up to try to flip tables, I don't think anybody would let him into the religious organization. Like they would just be like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "I'm Jesus," and they're like, "You don't look white." And he'd be like, "Okay."
I love Jesus. Great guy. Big fan. Big fan of
Unless
his
he
work.
flipped over my table at work. Okay? I'm
You
trying to
would
make a
deserve
business.
it.
I needed that $20 lunch.
All right, we gotta wrap up. Thank you guys
Okay.
so much for sharing your
Thanks
fun
for having
stories.
us,
Of
Ben.
course, thank you for letting me use the basement.
Oh, well, welcome to our basement. We film our podcast here. The No Point, you were just on it.
Yep,
Yeah.
the note point. Oh yeah, did you guys want to plug anything? How
Just
can people
No Point
find you? What do you have
Podcast.
coming up?
We
yeah.
have a podcast every single Friday called No Point Podcast. Me and my brother, we tell some funny stories. Ben was just on it.
Yeah.
Franchismo10 on TikTok, Instagram.
Yep. Guy with blanket roof. He did a great job of announcing it. It's that guy.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah.
All
We
right, well,
wanted
thanks
to
for-
be Ben's groupies if that job's open.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there.
Thanks
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, man.
Ben.
Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that audio issue did not cause too many of you too many problems. We all make mistakes. Whoops. It gets better from here, I promise. If you are looking for some PodClass President merch, that is available now. You can check that out on my website is benbrainerd.com. Brainerd spelled brain, like the one in your head, A-R-D. We also have a new Discord, so that'll be linked on my website as well. And as always, if you want to support the podcast and you want to get goodies and stuff a day early, check out Patreon. I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Ben_Brainerd. Check that out. I think the cheapest monthly subscription is just $3 a month, and it really just goes a long way to helping me continue to be able to do stuff like this. So if you enjoyed the episode, thank you so much. I hope you liked it. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, whatever. I don't know what you're fucking listening on, dude. But either way, hope to see you next week. Bye.